Hello guys and welcome to today's Monday Doodle. I will be coloring in a finished spread for a children's book I'm working on. Last time I showcased that I had decided on a style to go with. I'm not 100% sure about the color palette yet, but I have a pretty straightforward idea about how the colors should work and how I'm gonna work with shadows and all that. So I used a light bulb recently to do the first spread. So here it is. I used a Tombow brush, not the one that I have made a video about, but a different one. And I also planned doing watercolors actually on this one, but then I figured that it would be too time consuming for me to do it analogic. So another time I definitely want to work analog. But there are some great benefits about working digitally, which we can talk about. But I've drawn this spread here in this size, the actual size that we are planning the children's book to be made in. So it will be about this big here. And I've scanned it in, and then you can check out it here in Photoshop. Let's just say cheers. I'm drinking coffee tonight because I'm going to work later this evening. I think I'll be working to midnight. Yeah, cheers. This is a new coffee. It's all right. Sorry if I don't catch your comments. If you guys are writing in the chat, I will be pretty absorbed in here in Photoshop. Let me switch the screen. And the lighting here and the composition is as good as it can be. I hope that you can follow along as good as you can. We have a turquoise line here in the middle that suggests that this is where the book is going to be folded. I think it's quite nice when I compose that I know where it can be folded. So as you can tell, none of these figures will be affected by when you flip the page or open the book. So they will be kind of have her sitting on this page and him on this page here. What should I do first? I think I will just go and check my palette. This is my palette here, for this spread at least. Light purple for the monster over here. So I'll make a new layer. Let's call it Color Frank, because that's the name of him. I wrote Frank. I need to name him Frank. Color Frank. You can see it here. Color Frank. Yes. I will use just a plain round brush. Maybe you are surprised about just using round brush, but this is actually just the one I'll use because I just need to plug in some color. Set my layer to multiply, and then I'm good to go. We will start adding color. I think that on the spread I showcased last week, these white marks on the monster here were actually dark in that one, whereas here I decided to, in the last moment, change things up so the lines are now white. And was that a good decision? I don't know. I think so. I can always add some effects later on in the process. And that is really one of the benefits about, the clear benefit about coloring in digitally, that you can alter things quite quickly. As opposed to if I was to do a brand new sketch and spread of him. And I know that many people would say that it's the quick fix, the quick solution that to use digital color, and I agree. To a certain extent, I think that it is kind of jumping over a small offense. But then again, when you don't have a lot of time, I'm working on several projects at the moment, and I just couldn't set off the time to explore watercolors, and because it's such a huge area of experimenting before I would end up with a result that I was satisfied with. So as I said in the beginning, I think I will love to do a more analog version of a colored book, of a children's book one day. I just need to learn some more about colors, I think. For now, this suits me perfect, and that's sometimes just the thing you gotta go with, what works for you right just at the moment. But oh, whoa. Zoom in on the tail here so you can better see. But a thing that I nevertheless did was to draw him at least analog. And I think that you can tell by the drawing here that it has a bit of that analog feel because of the brush pen here. And this is something I'll always go for when I create illustrations, to have some of that analog feel. We are now close to Frank's face. I really like the design of his face, his overall character. I wanted him to, in the beginning he was more of a undefined monster, but then I decided to give him a kind of a character of a monkey, I guess, a gorilla. I was inspired by the way a gorilla looks. And then I gave him these, what do you call these teeth here? People who's really good at English gotta help me out here. Fangs, maybe it's fangs. And then these ears, elf-like ears. So I would like to, when you see Frank, you're not going like, oh yeah, he's a monkey, clearly a monkey. I would rather have him be kind of monsterish. And after I drew him, that was kind of interesting. Then not until then did I Google other children's book that had the word monster in it, and it really surprised me how stereotypical a monster was represented in various children's books. Also just monsters incorporated by Pixar. It's kind of funny how we are used to see a monster. A monster is typically something that's furry and something that has these fangs or these teeth here, and then usually some quite large eyes. I haven't stumbled upon a monster yet that was purple, so this is my attempt to be a bit original, even though I'm not sure if that's original at all. There has probably been tons of monsters been drawn purple, also by kids probably. There we go. I'm a bit in doubt whether I should color in his face. To do or to don't. No, let's do it. And then the contrast will be at his eyes. That's maybe also fine, to make those pop. Get a closer look so you can see the feel of the analog. A while ago I drew this kind of also monkey character various times actually. Once with a ink, a nib pen, bamboo pen, and another time for a comic, and somehow this character stuck with me, this monkey design here. I like it. So let's just have a look. I'm satisfied with it. I'm really satisfied with how it looks right now. I don't think there's a need to go dark on the lines. I could draw in his lip here. Color that in as well. And also the hand. Like so. Then I would like to give his eyes and fangs a yellow color. So I just use my color palette, and then I can go in and define his eyes. Just so we need a bit of ink also here, or color. There we go. And his fangs, of course. Gotta remember those. Are those called fangs? You gotta please write in the comments if these are called fangs or not. I might have them confused with arms of a monster. I don't know. So yes. Then I'm gonna do a carpet around the characters. So I'm just gonna write carpet yellow. So eventually this is going to be the same color I'll be blocking in. I'm gonna be starting. It should go around them. It should go around them. Yes. Just say here. Just making it go a bit over so it doesn't interfere with his design. And then out here. And down here. And then I just want these kind of... Maybe it's difficult for you to see because it's such a light yellow. But I'm adding these things here to the carpet. Also over here. Whoops. One of the things that I really cherish about drawing children's books is that playing around with perspective. I find that so fun to break the rules and project the space in all kinds of directions. So these two characters are seen from sort of just from a regular perspective, so to speak, like in eye level, but the carpet is more seen from above. So we have two viewing points converging, and I always found that fascinating to play around with, and just it's fun to play around with. You might tell I go over the lines once in a while. So for instance, the color here of the toes, there's some purple overlapping here over the line work, and I think I'm gonna use that as a stylistic choice. I'm not just being lazy. Well, maybe I am a bit, but Now I just had an argument for being lazy. It's a stylistic choice. And I think that tomorrow, at some point, I'll have to go over these colorings again to see if I missed a spot. It's not the brightest light I'm sitting in right now. Switch to larger brush. Fill in the space here between the tail and Frank here. And it would be interesting to know if you like to get that question. What do you prefer? Do you prefer drawing analog or digitally, or maybe both? And what is your opinion in general about what to use and why to use what medium you use? I think that to me, oh, do you see that part down here? This is actually something I gotta remove. I'll just use this clone tool here to remove that, yes. I think that to me, it has, until I would say 3 years ago, I was very anti-digital. And I thought that if you didn't do a drawing that was, or illustration that was analogically made, then was just kind of, not lazy, but just, I couldn't figure out why people used digital tools when you had the analog tools. But today I've become more nuanced in my opinion. I think that both things really have their place. I think I will never turn my back on analog, and drawing on paper is just so special. There's something just magic about keeping things so simple and just seeing the lines emerge on paper. So I will never stop drawing on paper. It's just about, I think, picking the right tools that you think are suitable and play around with it. Sometimes you can experiment a lot with digital colors, and you can do all sorts of things to see where things take you, and you can do the same with analog tools. So yeah, just I guess a more openness to the digital, and I could experiment way more than I do. It seems like I've almost just recently dug into it. Oh, we have a little middle space here between the characters. Like so. And here. It's probably a bit boring to look at me just blocking these colors here, but I figured you should see how that process also is. Let's just remove a bit of Frank color here because that was a bit too much. I think. I'll hit save. And there we go, there we have a carpet. Now I haven't figured out yet a color for her, but I guess it could be green. I don't know why I just had this color out. Let's just try and go with green for her color. Green, she's called Oh, what is this called? Oh yeah, Ella. Let's just try and see what green does. I mean, it's a nice color against the white, the yellow here. And I think also there's some sort of harmony to the color of Frank. There we go, up there. Need to zoom in. And I need to remove this so it doesn't interfere. Remove a bit of the surplus color here, down there. So, alright. We need a bit of color for her cheeks. Let's write cheeks, Ella. Just such a classic move in children's books. Red cheeks. It works every time. It's a cliche, but I really think it's difficult not to. I'm gonna change the opacity a bit so it's not that like blushing cheeks, maybe down to 50%. And to create the harmony with Frank, she's it's the same purple color as his. So this way I also illustrate that there's a relationship between the two. What should do? The last thing I would do is I would add some shading. And for that one, I actually the first thing I want to do is to create something for the line work. So I'm use the color palette, and I will try to, if I can, do a solid color of purple and then make it go on top of my line work. I think it worked. I just need to add some contrast. Levels. Yes. Okay, yeah, so what I did was just in case you're interested, I was kind of fascinated once I found out how people did it. So let me just put this off before. So before we had the color line work here, which is purely black. What I did then was take a purple layer down here, purple layer, and I put it on top of my line work, and I set this layer here to screen. This means that the color then adapts to the black line work that you saw before, and only that, not the other colors. And then I changed the levels, the contrast, so to speak, of the line work. So now what you see is that you have, instead of a black line work, we have a purple outline, which is originally made in black. So, and this is because I wanted to have purple as a recurring motif toward in the story. This is kind of the tone, you could say, the tone of the illustrations. Don't know if I will keep it, but I like to see if it could be anything for the story. And that brings me to the point of the shading, because here I will use the same purple here that I used for the line work, so we have connection. Hello, Nancy's art. You say morning. Is it morning at your place in the world? Wow, here it's quarter to 8 only. The brush that I'll use is something interesting. I found a brush called Weird Brush, which happened to be just the brush I was looking for. That's weird, right? So, and actually I really wanted to make my own brush, or like use my own brush to make the shading on this original here. But then again, the thing happened that I thought, well, if I can do it digitally, I can also easier change things. So that's why it ended up being digitally. Okay, so let's just see. As you can tell, this is a quite interesting brush. Just go closer. So if I have a very loose stroke, I get these sorts of strokes, which I think is really nice shading. I like this kind of analog feel of it. I can also go a bit darker, put more pressure, and thereby get a lot darker shade. I will be using this brush carefully at selected places, so it's not something that's too much. So for instance, I'm gonna go over the feet here, just give it a bit there, and maybe also here. And then I wanna make something down here at his buttocks. Yes, exactly. You're right about that, Nancy's art, and you can play around with it and change things quite easily. It's really a luxury that we can take advantage of. I'm just going to put a bit of shade here, and then beneath the arm here, I went a bit darker here, you see. Oh, this is so fun. This is just absolutely fun, and I love that analog feel that this brush has. It just gives it that little twist. I'm gonna put some shade beneath him as well. This is always, I think, a nice way to ground your characters by adding this shade here. And also, because his back is all the way up here, I'll create some shade here as well. I just gotta remove this line here. And then I can move on to Ellen, the character here. And you know what, we're gonna give her some shade as well beneath her and also on the feet here, just a little bit. So more on him because hi there, Sydney Cat. Welcome. Thanks a lot. Thank you. We're gonna put something on the arm here as well. See how the arm now is popping a bit more. Where else? Maybe just a tiny bit on the shirt here, not too much. I'm really trying to hold myself back here. And I'm gonna put a bit also on the cheeks, just ever so slightly. Like so. It's almost like charcoal, this brush. Put a bit here, because this is the hair that kind of is in the back. And then we will give her a bit of shade here to show that her hair is going this way. And if you're wondering about why the hair is like has this diagonal, it's actually on purpose, because in the story it says in the text that she just cut her hair here herself, and she knows that it's off, so it's a part of the story. And the keen observer can see that we have a scissor up here and her hair. So I tried to show that in the story and try to maybe tell a little story about that. Frank, her monster, probably has helped her cutting her hair, and that they're kind of, yeah, having fun about that. Let's see what else. Maybe a bit here also on this arm, because this is, oh, this is further away, so we can put that in shade. Also down here. I don't know about the face though. Should I put a bit of shade also here? Now this is the time where I should really hold myself back. Let's see what happens. Nah. Maybe a bit on the cheeks. Could put a bit on the cheeks. Yeah. Also think maybe something here. Okay, I think I'll stop here. Just put the shade all the way down of the shape so it doesn't, so I don't want it to look too much like I was working with bounce light and all those sorts of technical things. It's just to indicate that his size here. Perhaps there was too much here in the middle because he is a round guy, so has to go round. It's for a children's book, but I wouldn't mind if it also became a poster. That's actually not a bad idea to turn it into a poster. I mean, if the book becomes so successful that people want to use it as a poster, I wouldn't mind at all. But for now, it's for a children's book. And as I'm about to wrap with this Monday Doodle up, I can just show you the other spreads, so you at least get to see that. All right, I think for now I will leave it be, because you can have the tendency to overwork things. And as you see, I've only used purple, light purple, yellow, and green, and then or a dark purple actually for the line work. But essentially, it's 3 colors, and that's sometimes all it takes to keep things simple. So we will see if the colors here will. This was my palette. Because we'll see if it will be a thing for the rest of the book. This palette here. Whoops. I just want to put one in the middle to see how the text would look. Yes, I will show you the other spreads So this is one where the main character, Ellen, her father is driving. They're going on skiing vacation, so you can see there's a work to be done here with the composition, and then comes the coloring. We can check out the final one. Yeah, here I still need to add the text also. But here, this is again the monster, Frank, who's now a spider, and her father is kind of standing there in between the legs. And here we have some different characters who are also part of the story. So there's some work to be done from here to the others, which I will be starting on tomorrow, I think. Thank you for tuning in, and have a wonderful Monday. I guess, is it then Monday for you guys? Or is it Tuesday for you guys? I'm so confused about time zones. Anyway, have a beautiful Monday or Tuesday. See you soon. Bye.